2020 comes around, I'm scrolling on social media. There are all these experts, these incredible people who are selling their knowledge online. And so I go to Forbes, I'm like, Forbes, let's start a business and you're gonna teach people how to pitch. It's gonna be incredible and we'll make a bunch of money and we'll save the family and you'll get to work, you get to do what you love. And she goes, Makenna, you're 17. What do you know about the internet? I showed her my bank account. I'd made 6 figures by the time I turned 17. And she was like, oh wow, okay, let's try this. We launched our first webinar. I got 25 people to show up. We were selling a $1,000 product where Forbes would give you her pitch. And the next day we woke up and Forbes looks at the account. She goes, what's 25K mean? I go, Forbes, you closed 100% of that room last night. 4 weeks later, first month, we did our first 6 figures. And 9 months later, we hit $1 million 2 months before my 18th birthday.
You're watching Marketing Misfits with Norm Farrar and Kevin King.
Mr. Farrar, good to see you again. Another Tuesday, another awesome episode of the Marketing Misfits.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into it. Actually, this is the first time I think we had a family member on. A family member from another guest.
Yeah, I think so. But it's going to be a great one. What were you doing when you were like 12 years old, 10 years old? I remember I was picking up cans on the side of the road. My dad would drive up to the top of a hill. He would park, on the side of the road, get his book out and read. But he had dropped me like a mile back, and I'm walking down each side of the road picking up cans with a stick, put them in aluminum cans that people had thrown out their window, and then he would take me to the next spot, and then we'd go into the recycle place, and I'd get, $14.20, and then I was mowing yards, and so I was making $100, $200 a week as
You're making bank.
12, 13 years, but I wasn't making anywhere near at that age what our guest today was doing. And so I'm like, man, I wish the internet existed when us old guys were young, because we just imagine what we could have done. What were you doing at that age?
I was using my rotary phone to phone my friends to go outside and play tag or something like that.
You didn't have any entrepreneurial stuff?
Yeah, I did. Actually, my dad had a factory. So anytime on the weekends and on holidays, I'd be working with him. And that was right at the age of 10, 11, 12. That's when he started his factory.
So yeah. It runs. So what you're saying is entrepreneurship runs in the family, because your dad had a factory and you got exposed to that.
He had many factories, multiple factories, and multiple businesses always running at one time. Yeah, he was a crazy serial entrepreneur.
And our guest today was in a similar situation. Her mother, Forbes, was one of the most successful infomercial people. We had her on the podcast, so making sure you go back and check that, Forbes Riley. Go back and check that episode out. But she was crushing it on television and direct response and everything. So it seems like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, and I remember all those days, by the way. I remember Forbes on the TV and watching her. Yeah. And
I think our guest today might even got her break as a baby
I think so. That's what Forbes said.
Yeah, got her break as a baby, but since then she's grown up really quick. So this is going to be cool. So all of you that are younger out there, I think you're going to get some good inspiration from this. And I think she's doing a lot of things that us old guys should be doing, and she's already doing it. I think she's like 18 right now, and CEO of a company, and already got 2 Comma Award from funnel hacking, which means you've done over $1 million in sales online. So this is going to be a cool one.
All right. Well, let's bring her on.
Makenna Riley, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Thank you for being here. This is going to be cool.
And thank you for straightening up my screen. I was in a panic.
No, that's what young kids are for. We know how to use the internet, and that's
there we go.
Why I love what you guys were talking about. Kind of I'm actually 22.
Just 22 now. Okay. All right. Cool. All right.
I made my first million by the time I turned 18. When I was 17, that was my big kind of my goal as a young kid. But it's definitely, the world would have looked very different if guys like you had the internet as kids, because my life is totally different from a normal kid's life. I mean, the norm, because of how exposed I was to the internet. So very excited to talk about it.
Well, you don't remember a time when there was no internet, probably, right?
No, so about the time I was in 4th grade, so I had to be about like 8 or 9, I got my first iPad. The first iPad was ever released, and they had the first Apple phones. I remember BlackBerry, but we did not have spinny phones, rotary phones in my time.
You kidding? We used to communicate with smoke signals too, but
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as you can see, we're two old guys, so we go back to when you had the spinny phones. I don't recall that. And you had I remember the first mobile phone was a brick. It was about this
I had
big,
one
and
of those.
it would last. The charge would last about 5 minutes, and it was like $5 a minute to call somewhere. It was crazy. So what got you? So when did you get the entrepreneur bug? I mean, your mom was doing stuff as you're growing up. But I read somewhere you kind of got really fired up around the age of 12 or something, or was it before that you were doing stuff?
So as you said, I had my first break in like the world of business, online television when I was a baby. I was the baby Joy in Days of Our Lives. And that was like my first ever, break out to the world. But my mother, Forbes Riley, she pioneered the infomercial space, has done over $2.5 billion on television. And as I was growing up as a young child, if you turned the television on and you flipped through the TV, her face would pop up. You would see her. And so all the time at school or at restaurants or at the dentist office, I'd be like, oh, there's mom. But one of the things you didn't maybe know is that I'm also sitting behind that camera. So by the time I turned 2 years old, I'd been to England like 4 times because Forbes was doing QVC, and she would take me as a baby everywhere she went. Me and my mom are best friends. We've been my whole life. And so I would always sit on the back of those sets. And so I remember as a young child, maybe around 7 years old, at the studio of HSN. When you go into an HSN studio, and fun fact, HSN QVC is always live. So if you saw Forbes at 3 a.m., that meant Forbes is in the studio at 3 a.m. and also meant I was probably there. And so there's 2 sides of an HSN set. There's the open side where they wheel things on, and then there's the fashion runway for the clothes. And every single studio set up the same. And Forbes would go, and she would be selling whatever product she's selling, and I would be on the runway side sleeping. Sometimes I would take notes. I'd be like, your models aren't smiling. You should try doing this. And I would just take fun notes for her as a young kid. And I remember her being like, wow, these are actually really good. And as she kept doing HSN and doing those things, I loved watching her, and I got to meet so many cool people. I remember Wolfgang Puck gave me I wanted to start a cooking show as a kid because I saw all of them on there. I'm like, I could do this. And it was so inspirational being there. And that's one of the things I always tell parents is to bring your kids everywhere you go. Because from the time I can remember, I've always been with Forbes. I went to conferences. And so as I was doing that, the internet became a lot more easy to access by the time I was about 9 or 10 years old, and I got really into computers. And so I started coding, and Codelitics, there's like this academy for coding online, and I got really into JavaScript and all this fun stuff. I joined a Mad Hatters community and was like, oh, I love this, is so much fun. And then I went down like the wrong path with it, and my mom was like, let's use those skills for good. And she took me to a conference, a Russell Brunson conference. And no, I'm sorry. Before that, I went to a different one, a company that's no longer around anymore. And during the conference, she was speaking, and they said, we are going to host a marketing college where you're going to come learn emails, funnels, all this stuff. And mainly we're going to show you how to drop ship. And I was about 12 at this time now. And I'm like, I want to go to this. And then they go, it's $10,000. And I go, Mom, please buy it for me. Let's go. And she's like, there's no way. I mean, you have to go back to school. Like, there's no way I'm buying this for you. And then I heard him say over the presenter that if you signed up, you could bring one additional person free. And so my little brain went, I got to find someone who just signed up. I want to be the free person. I want to go to this, learn at this place. And so we went to a dinner after like the day of the event. And I casually was like, who here, is going to this marketing college thing? And a bunch of people raised their hand. And I said, well, if you take me as your +1, whatever I learn, I will implement into your business for free. I just really want to go, and you'll get to meet Forbes. And so I had 2 people go, I would love to. And they literally fought over me. And this one named Lewis from Malta was like, you're coming with me. And I said, great. And me and Lewis, we went to this event in Arizona together. I'm 12. And in all of these little rooms, you could learn email marketing, funnels, ads, and like from the best people. I mean, Anthony Morrison was there. Massive marketers in today's space who were nobodies at the time were teaching in these rooms. And they never did this event again. They did it once, and then the company had a bunch of issues. But I remember learning about drop shipping. And this is when Alibaba and AliExpress first really came out. And this is when you could run ads and, a lead was like 5 cents, 10 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And I launched my first drop shipping business. And I was drop shipping photo lenses for your phone because everyone had terrible phones and it was like iPhone 6 age. And I remember I launched it. I put the ads up. I put like $20 a day behind the ads. I put together all my Christmas money savings into my bank account, put it into PayPal, and paid it into Facebook. And 1 month later, I'd sold $10,000 worth of photo lenses.
Wow.
And I was like, mind you, I'm 12 years old. My parents are like, what? What did you do? And I mean, I ran into so many issues because the shipping took like 6 weeks from China to get to the US. It was I learned so many things from that. But one of the biggest lessons I learned, and I'm actually giving a TEDx talk next week about this, is how I was able to be successful in that. I swear it's because I came into it in a beginner's mindset and just was like, you know what, whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to implement it the way you say it. I don't know what to do otherwise. And I did that. And I watched the results pour in. So that's how I really got started in this space and fell in love with marketing. Because when I made that money, I was like, I just broke the matrix. What? This is crazy.
So that was your aha moment.
That was definitely the moment that was like, I love it. Wasn't just, building a business is fun. There's a lot of ups and downs in it, but marketing, I love marketing. I was telling my brothers, I'm like, if I could start over, I would probably just run a marketing business and and that's what I did in my early age. I enjoy having a business, but all I want to do, I talk to the marketing department of my company every day. I'm always like, what are the numbers? How are we doing? What's this ad? Let's do a new creative. I've got a new idea. So yes, that was definitely the jump start.
How did your mom feel about that when she's been very successful on traditional trade marketing, but probably at that point didn't have a lot of experience with the internet side? Was she very supportive, or was she like, wait a second, what is this? Or was she, you go girl and crush it? How would that go?
It's interesting because she's always been really supportive, but more of you see, my mother's got ADHD and many of the people I work with have ADHD. So they have like a million different businesses. I don't work well with that. I remember at that time, she had her fitness business. She had a production company. She had a skincare business, a clothing line. And then she was also the spokesperson for like 10 other companies. I mean, the amount of things and then she was also traveling around speaking. Like my mother loves to work. And for me, I am more of like I want to pick one thing, grow it, and then move on to the next thing. I don't want to do everything. And so we kind of got in I'm like, pick one. And so we never really collaborated. But what was cool was she did support me in a way of getting me out to other people. So I didn't necessarily work with her as a young child because we couldn't really see eye to eye on it. But she helped me get in contact with people like Joe Theismann and Les Brown. I built their websites when I was like 14. I worked with incredible people doing, I did the Women's March. I sold t-shirts and hats. I've done so many different businesses throughout my little career here because I did have a mother that was like, sure, go do it. I believe that you can do it. And our thing was always like, why not? Why wouldn't I not be able to do it? And so she was supportive in that aspect, but I do remember when I was 13 telling her, hey, this new thing called Bitcoin just came out. I read about it on BBC. It's only $100. Can you invest in it? I'm not old enough to create an account. Can you invest in it? I'm sure now she really does regret not opening that account and letting me invest my $100. But so it was very interesting in the beginning. It was this mindset of like, I love my daughter. She's my daughter though. She's young. So let me put her in school. She's doing all these other things for people, but I don't know how like I contribute with this. And at the time as well, my dad, I used to say when I made my first 10,000 around that age, I was like, I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I turned 18. That was like my big thing. And every single person in my life told me, money's not the goal. That's not really possible. Maybe you should be more realistic. And I was like, no, screw you guys. I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I turn 18. I'm going to figure it out. And my dad always laughed at that because every day after school, I'd have to do 2 hours in the warehouses cleaning spin gyms and like working. He always made us work. And so I would do that and do my internet stuff on top of that. And he was like, sure, Makenna, in 5 years, you're going to be a millionaire. And I said, I'm going to figure it out. And so my parents have always supported me. But there is that moment of like, could they have done more? Sure. Could they have done less? Sure. At the end of the day, it came down to this belief that I could do it. And I really, at the end of the day, every single person in my life told me that that's not possible. And I said, thank you so much for encouraging me to make it happen even more. And I spun that into that being the reassurance I needed to make it happen. And so by the time COVID came around, the world shut down. Forbes is out of work. She's got nothing going on. She's going crazy. If you see the podcast with my mother or you've met her, she's a workaholic. And so 2020 comes around. I'm scrolling on social media and I'm like, there are all these experts, these incredible people who are selling their knowledge online. And so I go to Forbes, I'm like, Forbes, let's start a business and you're going to teach people how to pitch and it's going to be incredible. And we'll make a bunch of money and we'll save the family and you'll get to work. You get to do what you love. And she goes, Makenna, you're 17. What do you know about the internet? And I had this moment of being so fed up and I showed her my bank account. I'd made 6 figures by the time I turned 17. I showed her all the things that I've been doing and she was like, oh, wow. Okay, let's try this. And then I made her promise one thing. I said, look, if you can focus on this one business, everything's got to stop. Everything already has stopped. Just focus on this one thing. I promise you, in a year, I'll make you $1 million. If I don't, we don't have to do this anymore. We launched our first webinar. I got 25 people to show up. We were selling a $1,000 product where Forbes would give you her pitch. And the next day we woke up and Forbes looks at the account and she goes, what's 25K mean? And I go, Forbes, you closed 100% of that room last night. 4 weeks later, first month, we did our first 6 figures. And 9 months later, we hit $1 million 2 months before my 18th birthday.
Awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome. Congratulations. You set a goal and you got it. You were determined. That's awesome. And sometimes it helps when someone says you can't do something, because if you're motivated enough, that's the fuel that you need to prove them wrong.
Oh yeah.
Norm and I both have gone through that with people who tell us, oh, you can't do that, or that's not going to work. Or like, well, we'll show you.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're right. But more times than not, we're right. Now you're a twin too, right?
I am a twin. I started that business with Forbes back in 2020. And then I realized, one of the things I joke about is I looked at my mom, who was 60 at the time, and I go, Mom, you're the only person in the world who doesn't know how to use a computer. Everybody else knows how to use it except for you. That was a very naive statement, because as I started amassing students, I realized a massive issue in just the online world is that there is no formal training for people to learn how to use a computer. And I mean, literally, how do you organize your computer? How do you send out emails? How do you build funnel pages? Like all the things that you need webmaster for or computer people for, you can do on your own, but there was nowhere really to learn how to do that. And if there was, it wasn't doing it the way these people needed. And so I taught my mom how to do it. I taught my mom how to build funnel pages. That came back to bite me in the butt, but I taught her how to do it all. And I realized, looking at all of our students, we'd amassed in about 2 years, 40,000 students. And I'm looking at all of them, I'm like, you guys are trying to pitch businesses, but you have no digital footprint at all. Like you don't have pages to drive to, you don't have checkout pages. Like, how are you expecting to do this? So I launched a company called GSD. It stands for Get Done. Essentially, I'm the queen of, you give me a project from A to Z, we'll get it done, we'll complete it and launched. And that's like my quickest project to money was on a Monday. Forbes decided she wanted to launch a new training. And I said, well, we'd have to launch it Wednesday. We filmed the training, built the pages, launched it to the community, did the emails, and within 3 days made like $25,000. And so I was like, okay, anybody can do this. And so I launched this company. And I was just teaching people how to be productive. And then my brother came to me and was like, well, why don't we add a software component to it? And I said, well, that's genius. And so we put together our own software with Mac AI in it, which is our own language model. We've got amazing resources inside of it, template loaders. We've literally done 90% of the work for somebody to want to launch their business online through this. And so he came to me last year and we started that business together. Well, he joined my business and he's absolutely brilliant as well. And I love my family. I love working with my family. Not many people can say that, but I do love working with my family.
Hey, Norm, you'll love this, man. I talked to a seller the other day doing $50K a month. But when I asked them what their actual profit was, they just kind of stared at me.
Are you serious? That's kind of like driving blindfolded.
Exactly, man. I told them, you got to check out Sellerboard, this cool profit tool that's built just for Amazon sellers. It tracks everything like fees, PPC, refunds, promos, even changing COGS during using FIFO.
Aha. But does it do FBM shipping costs too?
Sure does. That way you can keep your quarter four chaos totally under control and know your numbers, because not only does it do that, but it makes your PPC bids, it forecasts inventory, it sends review requests, and even helps you get reimbursements from Amazon.
Now that's like having a CFO in your back pocket.
You know what? It's just $15 a month. But you got to go to sellerboard.com/misfits, sellerboard.com/misfits. And if you do that, they'll even throw in a free 2-month trial.
So you want me to say, go to sellerboard.com misfits and get your numbers straight before your accountant loses it?
Exactly.
All right.
So GSD is like a CRM, right? I was looking at it and going through. It's like you help. It's like a one button push, almost. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but one button push to create a landing page and to do. It ties into your calendar, and then does the automatic does all the flows and the reminders and all that kind of stuff. So who's the target for that? Is it someone that's running an agency? Like you said, they didn't know how to. They're trying to get clients, but they didn't know how to do that or how to manage that or something. So these agency people, these 40,000, are these?
No,
who are these people?
All businesses from all different walks of life. We have service providers. We have SaaS people, like this one woman. She has an app that she sells through our software. We have product distributors like e-com people. This one woman who's done really well does leather purses that she sells with us. We've got another lady who sells insurance, like money insurance. We've got another lady who has her own tax software, and she uses our business CRM to sell that. We've got coaches. I mean, and I know, in marketing, they're always like, choose an avatar. And I completely agree with that. But I choose multiple avatars and then market to all of those avatars differently, which then together puts together a software that has every single walk of life of business in it. So it really works for any business. We even have brick and mortar business. This one woman, Angel, has her lawn mowing business, like to cut grass and stuff. They use the software. We've got a plumber who uses the software. It's all around. You can do your websites, your funnels, your emails. And what I always tell everybody, and everybody who comes to my trainings, our students, is the back end of a business is built the same in every single business. It's just the languaging on the page, the copy in the emails, the copy on the page. But whether you do an abandoned cart sequence, a newsletter, if you're doing an opt-in sequence, a free gift, a paid training, a paid service, the funnels and the systems on the back end do not change. It's the same triggers, the same things that need to go out. You just need to change the languaging. And so that's what we provide. We have all the systems already built. And like you said, you literally click the button to go, let me load in. If you want a webinar funnel, do you want a free gift funnel? Do you want a service funnel? Do you want a store? You click it, and then you just have to go fill in, your information and your products, and you're ready to launch.
Now, you had a lot of people in your corner. Now I can just see you. You've got a spark behind you and you're just going a mile a minute. Did you have any formal training, or is this all through your parents and your brother?
I have had no formal training. I barely made it through high school. I was in my junior year of high school when COVID hit, and we went on spring break, and then we were like, see you in a week, and then I just never went back to school. It's such a surreal thing to think back on. And I did, I skirted my way through high school online, and then college came around. And, by the time college came around, I was already making multiple millions of dollars a year. So I'm like, what am I going to go to college for? What are they going to teach me there? And so I didn't go to college. But here's what's really interesting, and this is another thing that I believe so heavily and I talk about, is knowledge is not now stuck behind institutions. You do not have to pay for knowledge the way that you used to have to pay. Let's get something straight. Wharton School of Business entire financial program is free on YouTube. You can literally go on YouTube, look it up, and get all of their like how to do bookkeeping, how to do LLC. So I went there and did that. But one of the other things that I strongly believe in, I saw this in like a sitcom, I think. It was like, this guy goes, I have a PhD, a doctorate, and a master's, and they all work for me. And so I saw that and was like, can I just hire people who are smarter than me to do this? And so I started hiring, I hired a bookkeeping firm. They came in, I started paying people because I didn't want to do everything myself. I had this idea, and the big thing that me and Forbes talk about is I can pitch and I can market. I can start any business I want because I can sell, I can generate leads, and I can make money. All the other stuff like the delivery, the operations, all that stuff, that will come. But if you're only good at the deliverables, the operations, that stuff, and you can't market or sell, you'll never have a successful business. And so for me, I'm great at sales and marketing. You don't really need that much of a formal training to do that for me because I believe testing is the most powerful thing. Go look up online. You can do a bunch of things, but eventually you just got to launch it and see what works. And that's how I've been able to quickly gain so much knowledge is because I move so fast. I'm like, boom, let's put it out, put $100 behind it. That's dinner. I won't eat out at dinner. I'll go buy some noodles or something. Let's just launch it and see what happens. And so that was one of my mindsets that worked really well. But just on the other side is I took that money and I paid other people to come in and do all the things I didn't like to do, like customer support, not a fan of. Bookkeeping, not a fan of. My taxes, not a fan of. All of these things, like doing all the admin, emailing stuff, I do not like that. I just like marketing. I read books on marketing. I watch YouTube videos on marketing. I attend different little trainings. I'm always reading. I look at what other people are doing and kind of go, can I replicate that? Is that working for them? And that's my lane. That's what I love. And then I just began hiring everybody else. So definitely in the beginning of business, was it hard? 100%. Did I probably lose a lot of money in taxes or operations or whatever it might have been? Yes. Was it worth doing it that way? For me, yes, because I love marketing. So at the end of the day, I always knew no matter what happens, I could restart and rebuild because I know how to do sales and marketing.
What is it that makes a good saleswoman? What is it? Is it something you're born with, or is it something you can learn? That's one question. And then what makes a good one?
For me, I think it's passion. People always come to I know that sounds cheesy, but bear with me. When people come to my trainings or my webinars or my sales presentations, they always leave on like cloud 9 because I love what I do. And when you talk to me, when you listen to me, you can see how much I love what I do. And my mission statement is, my mission is to help people between the age of 40 to 80 years old get their business online. And I am so freaking passionate about that because my mother was in the same position they were in, and I was able to help her break into the online world, get her message out there, and find wild financial freedom. And I want to do that for everybody. And I freaking love what I do. And so whether or not you know all the sales tactics or things like that, people can feel that energy of going, wow, she not only loves what she does, but the other thing that I do is I have this like no BS guarantee. Like I know what I do works. And whether you want to do it or not, if you don't do it, good luck. But if you want a fast track to do it, this is not a get quick rich scheme I'm running here. I go, look, it takes work, but I know what I do works. Look at these testimonials. I love what I do. This is all I want to be doing. Don't you want to work with someone like that? And just with that alone, without doing, how to answer objections and assuming the sale and trial closes, you can get someone to go, you know what? I love you. I love your energy. I want in. And so at the end of the day, if you can have that passion and energy about you that makes someone inspired, that's probably the biggest push for a lot of people. And then there's just like little closing techniques at the end. Like one of my favorite questions to ask people, like, I used to do one-on-one sales calls, and at the end, you know how you get to that awkward silence at the end? You're just like, okay, great. So cash or credit, and then stop talking. So you do all the fun, passion, energy talking, you get them to talk, then you quickly go, all right, so how are we wanting to close? And then stop talking, and people will walk themselves into the sale. And that's always been my way of doing it. And when I teach other people how to do it, I think it works pretty well. But you can't really do that inauthentically. Like, you do have to love what you do. And so that's something I always encourage people, is to like find something about what you do to love, and then show that in the call, especially around the results that you get for people.
That's one of the things I love too, is that pause at the end, and you wait for them to come back to you.
Yeah.
It's so good. What are they going to say? But
Yeah.
I got a question about your students. So you've got all these students, thousands of students, I believe. And I want to know what separates the ones that go ahead and succeed and those that don't.
Great question. Really easy answer. 30% of them never open the training. 30% of them never attend. And my question is always, why would you purchase this and not attend it, and not take it, and not implement
Validation. It's validation.
Exactly. It's something of like, I want to feel like I'm taking steps forward, but I don't really want to do the work. This is a big thing that me and Riker changed in our messaging, because one of the things that we have to think about as marketers is we always want more leads. It's like, how can we get more leads? But then you take a second, you're making this money, you're working hard, and you take, wait a second, who do I really want to be working with? I don't enjoy selling people who won't actually do the work. Honestly, everybody kind of gets annoyed by it. You're like, we've got 500 people in this training, but only 300 of them are actually attending. Where's the other 200? And then we start to and Forbes gets really obsessed with that. So when we look at look at our audience of who we want to sell, one big thing I always say is, do not sign up. I literally tell people, do not sign up for this if you will not go through it and take it. Because everything that I'm telling you right now about the results, I do not want to false guarantee you. This is not a get quick rich scheme. You cannot just come in, implement. You need to have a product. And so I say all these things because I'm now qualifying my audience, because I don't want bad reviews of people being like, well, I bought it and it didn't work for me. Well, do you have a business? Do you have a product? Did you actually take the training? If you say no to those, A, why are you giving me a review? And B, why did you sign up? And so now I just started blatantly saying it, and I find that our completion rate and our retention rate has gone up a lot, because now we have really qualified people who understand that in order to do this, this is what we require of them. And it's created a lot more of a friendlier environment and a lot more of a results-based environment, rather than just, catering to people who want to feel like they're doing something rather than actually doing something, if that makes sense.
What are you training them? I mean, so you said that your target is 40 to 80-year-olds. You have a perfect story of your mom who was on the computer, had a little crisis with COVID, and you turned it around. That's a perfect buy-in story.
Yeah.
But what are you actually, and you said with your brother, you have the software tool now, the GSD.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's that's included in the training. But what are you actually training? Are you training them how to use the software? You train them how to do marketing? What are you training
Systems,
these lawn mowing people and drop shipping people and all this mix? What are you training them?
Yeah. So later today, I actually have the third week of the training. We do a training called GSD Launchpad, essentially from A to Z, how to create your funnel, how to I don't really believe in free offers. I like low ticket offers, but pick your poison. And then you go to an upsell. So like your core offer, $500 to $1,000, that could be your service. If it's an e-com business, that might be your reoccurring offer. I kind of have a different format. So first we create the pipeline, and the biggest.
And this is the pipeline's a social media pipeline primarily?
No, your product pipeline.
Oh, product pipeline. Okay.
How many people have no idea what a product pipeline is? And
I'm
like,
upsells and cross sells and all.
Yeah. How can you sell someone into a low ticket or get them to sign up for free if you don't already know what they're going to buy for $10,000 or, 50, whatever your sales pipeline is? And so I'm like, okay, let's look at the whole picture, because the next problem that I was I help people get their business online, is I can't actually help you sell to anybody if you don't know the problem that you solve. So now I started calling everybody, we are all glorified solution we are glorified solution providers. We're not entrepreneurs. We're not business owners. We provide a solution. Tell me what solution you provide. Tell me what problem. And so we literally spend an entire week just doing that, because once you do that, everything comes much quicker. So then the next week, we build the pages. You build your landing pages, I don't believe in websites. I think websites are useless overall and a waste of money. And we can get into that in a second if you're interested. But for that, you build the landing pages, the thank you pages, and we build the email sequences. It all comes together very quickly. And then the next week, so this week, today, I'll teach how to do Facebook advertising. So in the software, in GSD, you can literally advertise on Meta through the software, and it's super easy to do. I'm like, just put $30 a day behind it. Something so small. You can get 3 leads, usually cost about $10 a lead right now if you do your ads right. So you get 3 new people in a day. If you can close just 10% of those people a week, you've got a business that's making money now. And so we launched that the 3rd week. And then in the 4th week, we talk about mastering the software. But I'm so tired of hearing people be like, I have a business, I have these products, no one's interested. And so the first thing that's usually the issue is that they're positioning it wrong. I believe you can sell anything to anybody with the right positioning. Usually you're just doing it wrong. And then we build ads and we put them out there, and now you've got sales. And I'm like, let's stop overcomplicating this. So that's what we teach inside of GSD Launchpad over 4 weeks. And then inside of that, they get 3 months free to the software, because I do believe that you should be able to build your business in all of this before having to pay for the software, so that the business is paying for the things that it needs to run.
A business in a box.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. What about systems? Do you have that already built in as well?
So I don't really teach people how to build like automations and things like that, because it goes right over
I was
their
thinking
head.
more SOPs, like just how to use it and how to run your business.
Yes. Yeah. So we have a roadmap of each part of, and so we have this language model inside of GSD. It's kind of like a version, we call it Mac AI because it's supposed to be like Makenna in your pocket. And it's kind of like ChatGPT, but ChatGPT goes for all the knowledge in the world. This Mac AI just focuses on business and marketing related knowledge, so that when it pulls from it, it's going to be what you want based on the fact that if you want an email sequence or a landing page, and it goes off of your own business. So you can, I teach how to create SOPs, but for the most part, you can just interact with the software. You can use custom values and things just kind of update on their own, as long as you don't mess with the systems and things that I already implemented for you. And so, we go into accounts a lot and have to like reset the account to implement a lot of those things. But my goal is to make it as simple as possible, because most people, I can tell them over and over again what an SOP is and how to build it, and it just doesn't click. And that for me just takes time. Some of my people have taken 2 years before they've made a dime on GSD, and now they're making $10,000 a month. It just took them time to learn. My thing is like, can I take out that, how long it takes you to learn something? You can always go learn this, like have fun, go for it. But can I just get this set up for you? And so that's what me and my brother Riker really strive for, is like how quickly, with a very limited base of technology and the self-proclaimed thing of like, I'm technologically illiterate, how quickly can we get you online?
Are you able to take somebody that's just starting out and actually scale? Usually when you're scaling something, you've got a whole other set of tools that you have to use. Can you do that with your system?
So my system that we built through GSD Launchpad is more of a starting place.
Okay.
You can scale it, but I don't think you could scale it to like $1 million a month. You would need a lot more systems and SOPs. But my thing, when I always tell them, is like, look, I'm not here to help you scale to $1 million a month. I told you I'd get you to $10,000 a month. If you can make $10,000 a month, you're going to turn around and give me 5 of it, or give someone else 5 of it, and pay them to go build the system bigger. And you can easily translate the systems to be bigger. But when you're doing $1 million a month, your email sequences need to be on point. Your advertising needs to be connected. Your UTM, everything needs to be shooting back and forth. Your analytics. At $1 million a month, you're going off of data. You're not going off of how you feel about something, or, I want to launch this. You're going off of, okay, the numbers say we convert at 20%. So if we spend $100,000 in 3 weeks, we'll make X amount. That's how $1 million a month business runs. And so for them, it's not, and a lot of people don't want that. The headache that comes with running a business that size, I don't think people realize. They're like, I'm going to quit my 9-to-5 job to start my business. And I'm like, so you can work 12 hours a day? Like, I work all the time. I love what I do though. And so I always kind of put that in perspective for people, but you can, I just signed a huge contract with a company that does $10 million a year to scale their business up. So it depends on what you're doing, but I don't think with the GSD Launchpad alone, you could definitely get to $100,000 a month. No doubt in my mind. It's the same. What I teach you is the same exact thing I did. But in order to really break into that like 7 figures, like high 6 figures, 7 figures a month, you're going to need a lot more data-driven things than we do right now in the Launchpad, because my goal is to not overwhelm you. It's to get you going. The only caveat to that is I cannot help a business that does not have a product. I don't create products. You can do network marketing. You can do affiliate marketing. I don't care what it is, but you have to decide what you're doing, what problem you solve, and how you relate to that. And if you can give me that, I can make you money online.
Are you looking to quickly boost new Amazon product launches or scale up existing listings to reach first page positioning? The influencer platform Stack Influence can help.
That's right. Stack Influence pushes high volume external traffic, sales straight to Amazon listings using micro influencers that you only have to pay with your products.
They've helped up-and-coming brands like Magic Spoon compete with Cheerios for top category positioning, while also helping Fortune 500 brands like Unilever launch their new products.
Right now is one of the best times to get started with Stack Influence. You can sign up at stackinfluence.com or click the link in this video down in the description or notes below and mention Misfits, that's MISFITS, to get 10% off your first campaign. stackinfluence.com. So how are you different than like Go High Level or ClickFunnels or something like that?
One of the aspects is us. We have tons of free courses and tons of we've got this thing called a template loader that literally you can, for like your funnels, your emails, all of the things that you would need. Let's say you want to launch a new sales page. You can click import and it imports the entire system for you, even for just software users. You can import the whole thing. And then we have our language model in there that I think is very helpful for people. You can build your brand playbook, you can build your offer decks, and then everything inside of there, you can go into there's all these tabs and you can click like, write me an email sequence, and you can choose the product that you already have a playbook created for. And then it will create the entire promotional email sequence for it right there, and then based off the product playbook. So we've made this a very streamlined system. At the end of the day, they're all softwares. We all kind of do the same thing. For me, it's just how much hand holding do you need through it? That's a big one. And then secondly, the reporting is like, for our system, we focus very heavily like on a scaling model on a reporting side. I did that selfishly for my business because I'm nuts about knowing my numbers. So there's also that. Personally, I use ClickFunnels. I started with ClickFunnels. I used ClickFunnels for like 7 years, and they're great for a lot of things. But unfortunately, with all the updates they did with ClickFunnels 2.0, I think they're feeling that heat. I mean, they've been feeling it for a couple of years now of people moving off because, the funnels got wonky, glitches. It doesn't connect with Facebook. It doesn't report accurately. So there was a lot of those issues in there. And as I think about it, you can get everything in the software unlimited for only $97 a month. So it's not going to break your bank either.
You sound very confident and you sound passionate. I'm just wondering if you think back in your life since 12? Have you ever, this is silly. Have you ever had imposter syndrome? Now, I know you can't have that at 12, but moving up like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, like, have you ever felt that way?
So I don't like calling it a syndrome because I don't believe it's a disease, but I have felt like, what am I doing here? Like, do I belong here? And, as someone who runs a team of over 20 people, and I'm the youngest person on my team, I mean, you don't really see that a lot where the CEO of the company is the youngest person in the company as well. And so I have used little tips and techniques to help me, but one of the things that I had to really come to terms with is I'm 22 now. That means I've been doing this for 10 years. If Kevin told me he'd been in the marketing industry for 10 years since he was 30, you have a huge different respect for Kevin than you do for me. And so one of the things that I had to come to terms with is that your 10 years in the industry versus my 10 years in the industry, not different. And we've had different experiences, things like that, but that doesn't make me any less qualified than you. And so I had to start walking into rooms and going, you know what? I don't care if people think I'm young, if I shouldn't be here. I know that I belong here. And whether I've got to sit here and tell you every accolade I do, I will, because I deserve to be in this room. Now, for my team, that was a hard one in the beginning because, I'm hiring. One of my first hires was like a 50-year-old guy. And, he's got a wife and kids and he's got this whole thing. And I'm literally at the time, I'm 18 years old. Who's going to take an 18-year-old serious? And I was having trouble with him because there was this kind of sense of like, I'm older, I know better. And then the other side of that is people would always go to Forbes because they're like, oh, she's older, she must run the company. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, you must be confused. She does not run the company. She knows she's the talent. And so this line my dad gave me, the best line I ever received, that I tell everybody that I hire them, I go, look, I know I'm young. Over time working together, you'll understand why I'm in the position I am in and I'm qualified to be here. But at the end of the day, I sign your paycheck. So let's just keep that in mind. And that's my one-liner. And I've never had an issue since then because that just establishes me as going, you know what, I'm here to stay. But the more that you accomplish, the more things that you do, be proud of it. I have a wild sense of belief in myself that I can do anything I put my mind to. And I say that over, I'm like delusional about it. And I encourage anybody listening to this, become delusionally confident in yourself. Because I'll sit there in bed and be like, oh, Makenna, what are you even doing with your life? And then I'm like, wait a second, you're in Portugal, you're surfing, you're loving life. Like you are so amazing. Everybody wants to know you. Everybody wants to hang out with you. Everyone wants to be in your business. You're helping so many people. Like you are that girl. Be that girl. Show up in the room that way. And so anytime I start to feel a little bit like that, I do my little affirmations and I become delusionally confident in who I am. So when I walk into a room, everyone goes, wow, I want to know her.
Like
where do you want to take this? Where do you want to go with? I mean, you're 22. You're young. Do you want to grow this into $100 million company and exit it, and then go on and start a surfing company, or do you want to? What are your aspirations and goals with this? I mean, I know you're having fun and you're passionate about what you're doing now, but do you have anything beyond this that you're like working towards? Like when you were 13, you said, "I'm going to be a millionaire by 18." Is there something I'm going to be X by 30 or by 40 or something? What do you have anything like that?
So that's actually something I'm struggling with a lot right now. I love my life. I just got back from 3 weeks in Oregon. I was surfing. I was in Brazil with my friends. We went on a fun surf trip. I get to work with my mom and we're speaking and we're helping people. I work with my brother and we're helping thousands of people. I'm doing a TEDx talk. I just signed another huge deal with a company. I'm making tons of money. And these are the points that I'm like, well, what do I want? Like, what do I want to achieve? And I talk to a lot of people who've achieved kind of this similar success to me. And they're like, we've all gone through these points where it's like, you're so happy in your life. And I'm kind of at this point right now where I'm like, can I take a step back and just enjoy what I'm doing and keep growing what I'm doing? I have tons of goals. Like, one of the things I'd love to get Forbes, like a national talk show. We're doing a book launch next year. I want to launch my own book. I've got a book hopefully coming out next year called Every Company Needs a Kid that I'm very excited about. But in terms of like massive goals, like by the time I'm 30, I don't know. I love what I do. I love my life. Hopefully I'm traveling more. My parents are both healthy. My brother's healthy. But I encourage everybody, if you're listening to this, is to pick the goal, shoot for it. And then when you achieve it, there's kind of this sense, I remember achieving that goal at 18 and kind of like feeling weird about it. I was like, well, now what? Do I make 10 million? Okay, I do that. Now what? So you can chase the money goal and that's fun. But part of me thinks that in my 30s, I'll change my focus more to humanitarian focus. It's one of the things that I've always loved, focusing on climate change, focusing on our oceans, all of those different aspects in the world. Because I look at this and I go, I can make all the money I want in this world, but if we keep destroying it in 30 years, there's not going to be a world for me to live in or my kids to live in. So thinking a little outside of the box like that. But I absolutely love what I do right now, and I hope to continue growing that. I hope to keep making the people on my team, I want them to all find financial freedom as well. I want my students to find financial freedom, and I want to just be in this incredible community right now and be so grateful for what we've created, and to continue growing it in a way that's authentic to us and where we're still having fun. So kind of answers it.
And I'm sure that's going to happen. I want to go back to one of your clients. All right. I want to hear one of your clients' success stories. What's one of those ones that's, that's just incredibly successful?
Yeah. So there is a woman who has she does like an insurance money thing. I didn't work with her personally, but she went through the training, and she's selling like $10,000 insurance packages. And I don't know if it was like her company or she was a network marketing or affiliate marketing. What I do know is she took the training, and her daughter has a business as well that does, you can grow your own sprouts. And she took the training, she launched her free gift, she launched a paid consultation call. So like a paid sales call. I recommended to that. I said, well, just do $25, do a paid consultation call about how to grow your money. And she did that. And then she sells her big program. She took the training last summer, and by the end of the year had already done over $500,000 in sales. And I was like, I didn't private coach her. I didn't build anything for her. My team didn't. Maybe she hired us to build one of her funnels, because we have an agency portion. Like if you want us to build your website or funnel, we'll do that. It's nothing crazy though. It's not like we're doing the marketing for you. And she killed it. One of the ways that she killed it though is she also took Forbes's training, and she took our speaker training, and she went and started speaking on every stage out there and drive people back to her $25 call into her high ticket product, and crushed it the last 6 months of last year.
That's an interesting concept, because Kevin, was it with you that we were talking about fitness centers? And if you like, a lot of fitness centers will come in and you'll just get a free workout, or you'll have a free week or two, and then a trial. A trial, and then the difference, just if you get them to pay a little bit, tripwire.
Yeah, it's a tripwire is what that's called. Yes, just to get them in. It's the same thing I'm doing with my BDSC club right now. $9 to get in, and then it converts to $99 a month. It's a similar thing.
But it's different than doing it for free. That's what my point was.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not a fan of free anymore, because there's no qualification of the lead. So, to get a free lead, you're getting thousands of them, but there's no sense of like, will they actually buy anything with you? We just launched a $27 offer on Facebook. We already have a 2x ROAS within 2 weeks. And out of that, we sell a $10,000 package, and it's absolutely crushing it right now. And
so that's you take them from a 27 to a 10,000, or is there an intermediate in between those two?
Nope. 27, you get a roadmap call, you hop on a salesperson, they sell you into a $10,000 program.
So how many of these 20 people working for you are salespeople?
I don't actually count the salespeople in my team numbers. That's outside of it. So I've got I've got one sales manager, and then we've got 5 salespeople on 2 setters and 3 closers on the Forbes Factor. So
your primary way of generating leads is Meta? Your primary channel?
Yeah. I don't do anything else. I don't use YouTube or Google. The main thing for me is Meta is...
It's where the old people are.
It's where the old people are, yes. But it's also cheaper leads and quicker results. So with using Meta, I run a Pitch Secrets Masterclass. We run a webinar every Sunday with Forbes. And if you come, there's usually about 600 to 1,000 people there.
All generated from the previous week from Meta?
No, all generated off of Meta within 4 days. I only start marketing. So usually we spend about $20,000 to $50,000 a week. So we spend about $10,000 a day. For 4 days, I'll spend about $40,000. I'll get, off of $40,000, we'll get, I could do the numbers real quick. That's 4,000.
600 people. That's
so if you So if you spend $40,000 and you divide that by, because most of my leads come out to an average about $10, and then so that's 4,000 people registered. Roughly about 20% on the low end will show up. So that's about 800 people, and then Forbes will close about 20% of those people into a $1,000 program. So that could easily in one night be 160 grand. So that's like, and that's using Meta in one webinar, 4 days of marketing. That's why I love Meta, because on YouTube or something, that takes weeks to get an audience that big. You can do that in a couple days with Instagram and Facebook.
So your primary sales is webinars.
For the Forbes Factor, it is an avenue. So one of the things that I learned a very important lesson last year, I dumped all my eggs in one basket of doing this webinar with Meta, and we got shut down. There was a ton of issues, and I was supposed to have my biggest year yet last year, and then I got cut off at the knees in August of last year and just couldn't recover before the year ended. So we had a steep drop, like my whole world got rattled, and I realized okay, I need to be diversified. So I've diversified my marketing across different accounts, different avenues. So now we do low ticket offers, we have free offers, we do engagement marketing, and then we do the webinar marketing, and then we do application marketing. So we have 5 different ways leads are coming into the business now, which is equating to I think last month we got over 30 million views on our marketing, which is insane. So the goal is to just get out there as many different ways, drawing people in, because people also I've noticed will buy the low ticket offer. They might not hop on the call, but then they get marketed the application funnel. Then they hop on the call. Maybe they don't sign up. Then they come to Pitch Secrets, and then they hop on a call, and then they sign up. So they need a few more touch points, more now than ever, to get them into higher ticket programs.
You said earlier you don't believe in websites. Tell me about that. I'm of a similar opinion that websites cannot be the best way. But tell me your thoughts on websites versus single purpose landing pages and everything.
Who's ever made money from a website? I mean, truly, what does a website do for you? It's a nice place, what does Makenna do? Let me go to her website, and it tells you all the things that I do. But I don't buy from it, don't opt into it, usually don't ever take action from it. And pretty much everybody who has a website can say they don't get leads from it, and you're not going to advertise to a website. So why are you spending 20 grand building out your website when you can do a one call to action page that generates leads, that generates incomes, that does all the things you want your website to do, but doesn't do? People don't want to know everything that you can do. They want to know what you can do for them in an orderly fashion. So if you can display that on a page very easily, great. Have you ever read an About Us page when you go to a site? I'll skim it, I'll scroll it, but I'm not sitting there.
Today. I read yours today.
There you go. But most people, most of our clients, we use Clarity. It's like Microsoft Clarity, where you can do the heat mapping and stuff. And I put it on our website. For the first 4 years of my business, I did not have a website with Forbes, and we were doing millions of dollars a year. No website, never needed it. People would ask for it, and I go, you don't need it. Just go to Pitch Secrets Masterclass. Just go to Sunday. You don't need my website. And so then eventually we did launch a website. I put Clarity on it. It gets a couple hundred people a month to look at it. I don't promote it. It's just on the internet. No one clicks anything. They don't buy anything. They don't take action on anything in the website. And I don't think because the website's poorly set up. I think it's because websites are useless. There's really it is digital real estate. Okay, great. People know what you do, but is it pushing the mission and the focus of the business forward? For me, it does not. So that's
sometimes though, I'll see something in a newsletter or an ad, and it takes me straight to the, sign up for an appointment page or whatever, the money making page. And I'm like, no, I want to know some information. So I have to go up and click on their little logo or look at the URL and back it up, so I can actually see what these people do. So is that that's a mistake that they're making by not giving the information on that page? Do you see that happen a lot? And so that's something that
100%.
Your software fixes that problem, where it's actually a full funnel there, because so many people just send you to that page and no, that's going to actually end up back off.
Yeah. So my software If you take my training, I'll teach you not to do that because that doesn't work. But the software, you can do whatever you want. If you want to build a page that just has a calendar on it, go for it. But I agree, it doesn't work. You do have to put information on it. That's why we have sales pages that are long, VSLs on the page explaining what it is, writing about it. If you go to any of our sales pages, you'll always see a section that's like about Forbes Riley or about the training. And there's always some writing about it. So 100% agree. And especially in our application, if you're going to send someone from a newsletter directly to hop on a call, again, I would never do that because like you said, they won't book a call. No one just wants to like randomly hop on meetings with people all the time. They want a reason to do it. So in that case, if I was doing it from a newsletter and I wanted someone to hop on a call, I would do an application funnel because people always want to learn things about themselves. They always want to get more information for their business, their personality, whatever it might be. I have them fill out like a little 5-question quiz. I'm like, wonderful. Thanks for telling us about your business. When you hop on this 30-minute call, one of our success advisors will hop on and strategize your business to do blah, 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 blah. And then they hop on the phone and our sales team has a strategy for them. And usually the strategy involves, okay, you want to do this. This is where we want to go. This is what you would need to do it. If you want help doing it, this is what we offer. And that's how we close people.
What's the biggest mistake you see? Go ahead, Norm.
You're frozen right now. Yeah.
You're frozen. Okay, he'll be back. So while we're waiting on him, what's one of the biggest mistakes you see people making in the marketing? All these clients and everybody's going into your software. What's like the number one thing you're like, oh, not again. Here we go. They're doing it again.
I have a couple of them.
Go ahead.
One of my biggest pet peeves is when people waste the space on thank you pages. A thank you page is the last time you have like 100% of somebody's attention. And when you don't utilize that, you don't put anything else for them to do, any sort of marketing, when it's literally just like a page that's like, thanks for signing up, check your email. Like, that's lame. And not only lame, but it's costing you money. Like, your thank you page holds so much value. The second thing that I see people do that I don't really understand is they'll send a free page to a free page. And I see this and I truly don't understand this. When someone's like, you get someone's name and email, they opt in, and then they send them to another page to opt in again. I'm like,
oh, yeah. I
don't get that. And I'm like, okay, guys, we can't do that anymore. And then I think the other thing that it's more of I think it's like a no-brainer, but it's a little hard to do is upsells and downsells and order bumps. I think Russell Brunson really coined that whole order bump, upsell, downsell thing. I'm sure Dan Kennedy and all of them. But when you have somebody's attention, you sell them into something low ticket. And I don't necessarily teach to add upsells and downsells in my trainings because it's very overwhelming for people. Like, you got to understand, most business owners, and I say this pretty confidently, have no idea what a product pipeline is. They don't get it. Especially brick and mortar businesses have no idea what a product pipeline is. So when you start to introduce the idea of upsells or downsells, they're like, what? And I'm like, okay, you're at a kiosk. You walk up, they have gum there. You have your purchase, and then all of a sudden you buy a piece of gum. That's your order bump. What's your order bump? It's like the concept is really hard for people to wrap their head around. But once you do, it's genius. we take little $27 sales, and all of a sudden they're coming in at $600, $700 because of our upsells and downsells. Mm-hmm. So that's I wouldn't say necessarily a problem, but it's such a missing component in so many people's marketing and I think the overall idea of what I'm going for is if you have somebody's attention, capitalize on it. Please go for it. Take it where you need it to go, because once they leave that page, I can almost 50% of those people will not interact with your emails, will never interact with you again, maybe see something, but they're not going to take action with you again. You have their attention now. Use it wisely to promote what you do.
Hey, Kevin King and Norm Farrar here. If you've been enjoying this episode of Marketing Misfits, thanks for listening this far. Continue listening. We got some more valuable stuff coming up. be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast player, or if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, make sure you subscribe to our channel because you don't want to miss a single episode of the Marketing Misfits. Have you subscribed yet, Norm?
Well, this is an old guy alert. Should I subscribe to my own podcast?
Yeah, but what if you forget to show up one time and it's just me on here? You're not going to know what I say.
I'll buy you a beard and you can sit in my chair too. And you can go back and forth with one another. Yikes. But that being said, don't forget to subscribe, share it. Oh, and if you really like this content, somewhere up there, there's a banner. Click on it and you'll go to another episode of the Marketing Misfits.
Make sure you don't miss a single episode because you don't want to be like Norm.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree with you. The thank you page is the most underutilized page
100%.
out there. And that and the welcome email, if it's a newsletter or it's something, the welcome email is going to be one of your if not your most opened, it's going to be way up there. It should be one of your most opened. And then even order confirmations, people typically open those, cross-sell in the order confirmations and stuff. So many people.
Like the abandoned cart, one of my most successful, like literally the most successful email as ever is when someone tries to buy something and it fails. If you can send an email and a text message out 1 hour later, reminding them, that has recouped so many sales for us because people just got distracted. So email marketing, if you get me started on that one, I cannot stand people who are like, email marketing, who checks their emails? And I'm like, everybody. I check my email 5 times a day. What are you talking about?
I get that too. I have the number one newsletter for Amazon sellers. And people, when I started it 2 years ago, people were like, nobody reads email, Kevin. Everybody's on social media. It's like, you're so wrong. I've taught 220,000 people how to sell on Amazon. I've spoken on hundreds of stages. I have 2 podcasts. I've done all this stuff. There's been nothing more powerful than that newsletter twice a week, a real newsletter, not a marketing email, but a true newsletter with value. There's nothing moved the needle and made me more money, not only directly from affiliate stuff and stuff in the newsletter, but just giving me authority and influence. And sometimes we see so many people are afraid to email their list that they're like, I got 30,000 people that I've been collecting, but what if I upset one of them? Or, I'll email them once every 2 weeks. I don't want to email them too much because then they'll think it's spam. It's like, no, you email them until they say stop. Even if it's a couple times a day. And you'll go get some people that are going to be like, leave me alone. Those aren't your customers. So you've mentioned Dan Kennedy, you mentioned Russell Brunson, you mentioned a few other people who are like, if someone out there is listening to this and you're like, all right, guys, if you want to be in business, you need to read these 3 books or follow these 3 guys. Who would you recommend that's going to move that help people get in the right mindset or help to give them the tactics or move the needle the most, in your opinion?
So I love Forbes Riley, literally and figuratively. I've learned everything in business from this woman. We started saying, and it's true, that I'm her best student. I've listened to everything that she's ever taught. I've always hung out with her. I know her stories. I know her teachings. I could probably teach what she teaches better than her, just because of how much, I attend all of the trainings. And I think the reason, you asked me, like, how am I confident? It kind of mentioned confidence. The reason I'm so confident in my voice and who I am is because of Forbes Riley. Not just because she's my mother. And you got to understand, I would not be working in a company where I put my blood, sweat, and tears. I work 18 hours a day in a company just to make money. That's not who I am. And not a lot of people can do that pretty consistently for 5 years just for money. I'm doing that because I love what I do so much, in the sense that it helped me to become the person I am today. I would not be this person. I look at so many people around me, my friends, other people in different communities. I look at their kids who are in their 20s who cannot talk, literally cannot speak a clear idea without saying I don't know, I try, all of these filler words. And I look at this and I go, I'm so grateful that the person in my life, because your parents are the most influential people in your life in the beginning of your life, taught me how to speak. And that's so important. You have to know how to talk and use your words. And so that would be my first one. Forbes's book, Pitch Secrets A to Z, that I helped her put all her thoughts together. It's literally a book from A to Z, how to, each letter is a different thing about pitching. It comes out in March. So get that book. It's going to be amazing. Second person, I'll have to say, is Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson is probably one of the greatest marketers of our generation. I think between the software, between funnels, I mean, I started my entire career in ClickFunnels doing that. And it's what I love. I love everything about what he talks about. And I love his books, the funnel secret books, the funnel hacking. Go read those books. Those are absolutely incredible. And then my third, you asked me for three, right?
Yeah.
My third one is, I follow so many great people. I will have to say, it's probably a name most people knows, but Alex Hormozi. I just saw his book launch that he did 2 weekends ago, did $100 million in sales in one day, broke the Guinness World Record book. And there's just something so admirable about it. I've read his books. His books they're good. They're not anything revolutionary though. Where Russell Brunson, I think in his books has a lot of really wow, I've never thought of it that way. Alex Hormozi's are good. But he has a great way of breaking things down really easy to understand, which is one of the things that I like about him. But more so than what he teaches, I like to watch what he does. I mean, this man is brilliant. The way that he has his acquisition company, the way that he funnels people into his acquisitions. You asked me what I want to do in my future, what one of my goals are. One of the things that I've been pondering is I want to join boards of companies and be in the acquisition space. It's a way I love startups. I don't really casually running a business. I find kind of boring after a while. I love being in that startup phase. So maybe that's what I'll go into. But he's definitely a big inspiration for what the next half of my life, not even next third of my life could look like, based on how he took Gym Launch, did $100 million, and then went into acquisitions because he just loves business and marketing. And I very much relate to him on that. So he's definitely an inspiration on the lifestyle side and kind of the side of being you don't need to have kids. You don't have to keep a job. You don't have to, make a bunch of money and then exit out. You can love what you do and keep doing it and be unapologetic about it. And so I find a lot of inspiration from him as well.
All right, I'm back. Different background. Computer crash. So this is what I love about technology. So guess what? We're at the top of the hour. That's my final.
You said you had a question, then you went bobblehead.
Well, you asked it. I was just getting in. You're probably talking about entrepreneurs and what's missing with entrepreneurs. But I think that's what the question was, wasn't it?
It's close. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just keep it at that. We're past the top of the hour. First of all, where can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can go to gsdyourbusiness.com and come join us live on a Tuesday where we talk about marketing and we teach how to do kind of the overall idea of your business. We do that. It's called gsdyourbusiness.com. And then I'm on Instagram at themakennarriley.com. Makenna is spelled with an A, so Makenna. But I'm posting a lot of fun content. I started that about 2 months ago. I didn't really ever like social media, wasn't really interested in organic. But I thought, you know what? I have got a great team now. They've all telling me I need to be on social media. So come follow me. I still don't have a lot of followers. So if you message me, I'll see it and I'll message you back.
Okay, fantastic. Now, at the end of every podcast, we always ask our misfit if they might know a misfit.
So it's funny because my mother was the one who said me, and I'm going to say my brother. My brother is probably one of the best presentation salespeople I've ever met, and absolutely brilliant when it comes to funnel building and putting together the systems behind. He put together the systems, the things that actually make it work, like trigger links and tracking and all of the coding that goes behind it. He's absolutely brilliant. So Riker Riley is his name, and I'm going to say he's my call for this one.
All right. So he'll be one of our next misfits. We're keeping it in the family.
I love it. That's how we do it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on. Sorry about some of the tech glitches, but I did make it back for the final little bit. Kevin, anything else?
I appreciate it. Thank you, Makenna. This has been great.
Yeah.
All right,
you
Makenna.
Guys.
We're going to remove you, but just don't go away.
All right.
There we go.
You're back, Norm. I think you need, you're in that. No, you're not in her. Yeah, you are. You're in her target audience, 40 to 80. You need some computer help over there, I think.
Yeah, I think you're.
Makenna might be able to come in and might be able to help you. Help you with your computer stuff. Hit those buttons.
Yeah, and then I don't even know if they have an older age, like over 80, Kev. So I'm not sure if you'd fit in there yet.
I'm. Yeah, I would fit in there. Hey, my masseuse keeps saying my skin keeps looking younger and younger, so I'm doing something right. I'm doing something right. But you know what? No. Yeah. Now, Makenna, I wish at 22 I was doing what she was doing, and I was starting a business at 22 and doing it, but didn't have the internet, didn't have the pedigree, the family pedigree and stuff that she had to really pick it up at a young age and to rock and roll and go beyond. Very, very impressive stuff. And it'd be great if we could get her brother on and talk to him. Then we'll have it all in the family.
There we go. Well, Dad.
Well, that's right. We'll be missing Dad. Missing Dad, and then I actually think has a dog or a cat. They probably have some insights on something too. So
maybe
very smart. Can't call them entrepreneurs. It's a very smart, what'd she say, problem solving family.
Right.
Getting S done. So if you like to get S done. One of the things you can do is make sure you listen to the Marketing Misfits podcast. A new episode comes out every Tuesday. And if you haven't listened to the one with her mother, make sure you listen to that as well. Make sure you listen. That one's a really good one with a lot of really good actionable, tactical stuff, really entertaining episode as well. So make sure you watch that. And then check it every single Tuesday. We have a new episode here on YouTube. We're on the TikToks or the TikTokers, or what's that thing called?
Yeah, I think it's called TikTok.
TikTok.
So we just got that channel launched a couple of months ago. We got 2 YouTube channels, one for the long form videos and then also for the short form. So we put out under 3-minute videos on our Marketing Misfits Clips podcast, which is doing great. And by the way, Forbes is going to have a ton of short clips on there.
Oh, awesome. I think that's it, Norm.
That is it. Until next time. All right, everybody. We'll see you later.
Take care.